with a web of lies running so deep that it caused a professional Rocket League team to disband and the victim to permanently retire from the game. This is the craziest catfishing scandal that esports has ever seen. On September the 3rd, 2023, a professional Rocket League player called Virtuoso created a Discord server called The Truth, where he would expose the insane story of his team's Rocket League season, and the story starts 1 year prior in September of 2022. So the start of the RLCS season was fast approaching, and pro teams were starting to lock their rosters in. And one of those rosters was a team consisting of veteran players Virtuoso, Realize, and Kami.
The net could be vulnerable. Good shot! And Kami!
And with a new org and domination on the field, everything was going perfectly for the team. But after the team's new contract is where things started to change. Elevate had flown Virtuoso and Kami out to the team house to live and play together over the winter split. But after a couple of weeks, Virtuoso had noticed that Kami's demeanor had changed for the worse. He says he spoke to me less and less by the day, to the point where he only said good night and good morning to me. And it was at this time he noticed he was always playing private 1v1s, Osu and Minecraft while always texting someone. Kami didn't disclose who this mysterious person was until one day he changed his Twitter bio. And while looking at Rosekey's profile, Virtuoso started to notice that some things weren't adding up. Rosekey described themselves as
a Korean professional Rocket League player and law student living in Amsterdam.
And Virtuoso says that he was confused how Kami could talk and play with this law student all day long, and that there are no professional Korean Rocket League players. A couple of weeks later, Kami and Rosekey's relationship developed to the point where Kami, without asking his teammates, would invite Rosekey to watch their scrims and even join their Discord calls. On its own, this is pretty weird, but to make it even weirder, Rosekey wouldn't say a word during these calls. After an undefeated full split, the winter split did not go as planned for Elevate. This meant that Elevate needed 100% focus in the spring split to confirm their spots at the World Championships, but Kami's behaviour surrounding Rosekey continued to happen and even escalate. In between scrim games and even goals, Kami would unlock his phone and text Rosekey.
He's gonna fire right back!
This strange behaviour led Virtuoso and coach LBP to talk, where LBP would reveal the true nature of Kami and Rosekey's relationship. LBP explained that Kami was e-dating Rosekey, he never heard her voice, FaceTimed, had any personal contact, nor ever met her. He also told me that they were supposed to meet at the Rotterdam Major, as it's very close to Amsterdam, where Rosekey claims to live. But Rosekey apparently said no, there's nothing to do, except for, I don't know, meet the guy you're e-dating. At this point, alarm bells were ringing, so a team of Virtuoso, LBP, and CJCJ decided to start an investigation into who Rosekey really is. So Rosekey went by many different aliases, and while not damning evidence alone, helps prove that Rosekey is not who they say they are when paired with other evidence. Rosekey's ball-chasing profile shows all of the previous names that they've used, with the most important ones being Mabel, Mitse, Avite, Kakao, fucking whatever that is, and Yuki. Rosekey claims that their real-life name is Yuki, while this is the person who Rosekey claims to be on their now private Twitter profile. So you may have noticed that I've been avoiding using gendered language when referring to Rosekey. That's because Rosekey is actually probably a man.
Is that not push? Kinda. But there's sometimes a lot of chance. Yeah. Oh, did you fucking see?
And if that's not enough, then here Rosekey refers to themselves as a guy since he says son, and here further confirms that he is a man. So without fear of being cancelled, I will now be referring to Rosekey as a guy. Publicly and to Kami, Rosekey refers to himself as a Korean girl living in Amsterdam for law school. But in the following screenshots, Rosekey has always said that he's from Japan but lived in the UK. In these screenshots, we will prove that Rosekey is mostly related to the UK and not Korea or Amsterdam. In this photo, Rosekey explains that this shop let us, 14 and 15-year-olds, buy Red Bull and Rockstar, which is illegal in the UK. And as someone from the UK looking at that sad grey pavement, I can confirm that this is in the UK. When something looks that miserable, I feel like you can just tell. Also, that's not the same skin tone as the Asian woman who Rosekey claims to be. Furthermore, Rosekey's mobile data provider is EE, which is only available in the UK, and Rosekey only uses pound signs when talking about money. Rosekey apparently lives in the rich part of Westminster, where we have very big gardens easy, which looking at that sad grey street tells me he is not in the rich part of Westminster, and probably more based around Brixton.
Brixton bullies!
And despite Rosekey claiming to be Korean to Kami, says here that I don't understand how people write Korean, and that I don't speak Korean easy. What is this easy thing, by the way? That's fucking annoying. And not that it should come as any surprise to you by now, but Rosekey has also lied about his age. I'm 16 and making easy money. On January 26th, 2023, Rosekey claimed that he was 20, but when you go back to that sad pavement in England, he claims that he is 14 14 or 15 in 2020, meaning that when he tweeted that he was 20, he should actually have been 17 or 18. But that is not all, as there are a couple more incredible stories that Rosekey has made up. Apparently Rosekey faked his own death under the alias Avite, with Virtuoso saying that it was perhaps due to his bad reputation in the freestyle community. And here is just a great story about the time where he claims to have tripped on shrooms in secondary school. Once I was with friends in the school bathrooms just chilling, my friend pulled out some shrooms lamau. He offered us some, my other two friends agreed, but I was a bit anxious because I hadn't taken shrooms in like a year or so. How old would that make him when he last took shrooms? Like 12, what the fuck? Anyway, they pressured me and I did it. Of fucking course, a teacher came around the corner and saw me putting that shit in my mouth. He asked me what it was. I legit said a bread roll. He didn't believe me and pulled me into the office area to wait for the head to come talk to me. He finally came out and that's when I was starting to trip. It was the strangest conversation. Wow! Tell us again! So firstly, I'm not surprised that he is the type to hang around in the school bathrooms, and secondly, as someone who has experienced British secondary school, 13-year-olds tripping on shrooms is 100% believable. And Rosekey has also admitted to drug abuse to combat his depression, saying that I do drugs because I'm super depressed, which ironically is the realest thing that he has said so far. So with all of this, we can confidently conclude that Rosekey is an 18-year-old white English male who may or may not have a drug addiction. Also, I have a Discord server where shenanigans occur, and we're starting up in-house events and tournaments, so make sure you join via the link in the description. So before Worlds, Coach LBP sat down with Kami and provided him with all of the evidence that I just showed you and more. After this, Virtuoso says that Rosekey wanted to prove to CJ, and LBP that they were a real person, so he made a Discord group chat between them where CJ asked Rosekey to send a picture of themselves with a piece of paper saying Kami on it. Rosekey said that he or she can't do so and told Kami that she's too shy, and that was enough for Kami to believe Rosekey. Okay, but anyway, Team Elevate were determined to get through to Kami, so they asked Kami the following questions. Do you love Rosekey? He said no. Have you ever heard Rosekey's voice? You never heard her voice? He said yes. Have you ever wanted to meet? They were supposed to meet at the Rotterdam Major? He said no. And finally, have you ever sent Rosekey money? He said no. After this, Kami broke down in tears, which Virtuoso took as a sign that they were getting through to Kami. Kami then again spoke to the team the next morning, saying that he won't let this affect his performance, but he won't believe the evidence unless Rosekey doesn't go to Worlds in Dusseldorf, where they arranged to meet. Have you ever wanted to meet? He said no. So fast forward 1 month, and Elevate had made Worlds, and after almost a whole year of e-dating, Kami was looking forward to finally meeting Rosekey in Dusseldorf. Except I think you know what happens. Prior to Worlds, Rosekey was kicked from a Rocket League freestyle clan called Pulse Clan after Realize told the Pulse Clan owner that Rosekey was a catfish. Both Rosekey and Kami used this as an excuse not to meet at Worlds, despite Kami saying that he won't believe the evidence unless Rosekey doesn't go to Worlds in Dusseldorf, where they arranged to meet. So without doubt, this break of trust between Kami and Realize had affected Elevate's performance, and they ended up not making it out of the first stage at Worlds.
And now, Elevate's gonna run out of time, and it's Team Secret!
And afterwards, there was a big fallout, and Elevate's roster of Virtuoso, Realize, and Kami had disbanded. RCS fans were upset, but they didn't really think much of it, as teams disband all the time. But then Kami uploaded a now deleted Twitlonger saying that Virtuoso and Realize were the worst people he's ever met. And then Kami's mother took to Twitter to defend Kami and Rosekey's relationship, replying to a deleted tweet by Rosekey saying they have no right putting their 2 cents in. They both need to grow up and keep out of other people's business. And since the drama was made public, Virtuoso was forced to defend himself by uploading his story and evidence into the Discord server called The Truth. The whole Rocket League scene was encapsulated in what would be the biggest scandal of 2023. The Truth was uploaded for everybody to see, and the community were in agreement that Rosekey was in fact a catfish. So what happened next shocked everybody. Rosekey uploaded a response defending their relationship and the catfishing claims. In the response, Rosekey says that they were previously a male who had transitioned in 2020. Rosekey says that they did lie about their age, but says people do it all the time, so that's completely fine then. Rosekey then said that they lived in the UK from a young age and calls themselves British like many foreign nationals do. And finally, Rosekey says that they've never asked for money or took money from Kami, saying that they would feel bad taking it from him. Failing to address anything that actually mattered, such as the sudden change in skin colour, means that unless Rosekey is actually Michael Jackson, this is a terrible defense. But finally, in the following weeks, Kami posted this tweet, finally saying that we broke up, just leave me alone, before permanently retiring from competitive Rocket League after a respectable career.
Kami's gonna fight right back. Kami
ushers it on the brink of making APAC history. They have
and
done
it is important not to make fun of Kami here, because he was obviously looking at this person through rose-tinted glasses. Okay, sorry, that's the only one, But for real, love and denial does crazy things to people, and before any of you leave any hate on Kami, you've all got to realise that the only bad person in this story is Roseki. And the lesson to be learnt here is to not trust random people on the internet living thousands of miles away while refusing to share their voice with you and having a history of shady behaviour. I thought that was a given, but apparently not. So remember to like and subscribe, and if you enjoy these darker stories, comment and I will make more.